While Gypsy Rose Blanchard was still incarcerated for the murder of her mother, Dee Dee Blanchard, she wed her now-divorced husband, Ryan Scott Anderson, in July 2022. Gypsy Rose Blanchard, the subject of prison confessions, was given a 10-year prison term in 2016 for the murder of her mother, who had forced her to endure years of painful, unnecessary medical procedures. Blanchard suffered from Munchausen by proxy, a type of abuse where a parent or guardian makes their child unwell or exaggerates their sickness in an attempt to get attention or sympathy. In June 2015, Blanchard and her then-boyfriend Nicholas Godejohn plotted Dee Dee's death. Blanchard eventually entered a guilty plea to second-degree murder, while Godejohn was found guilty of first-degree murder. Blanchard served her sentence for 8 years before being freed on December 28, 2023. Blanchard and Anderson filed for divorce less than 4 months later. In April 2024, Nadia Vizier, a close friend of Blanchard, told People it felt like she was on a leash. What distinguishes feeling stuck in one's own house and marriage from being imprisoned? She was tired of putting up with it. Everything you need to know about Ryan Scott Anderson and Gypsy Rose Blanchard's relationship is provided here. Anderson is from Lake Charles, Louisiana, and he works as a middle school special education teacher, according to Blanchard and Anderson's marriage license. Blanchard had intended to go to Louisiana after her release from prison. Anderson joked that this was one of the main reasons she chose to talk to him at first. She's like, "That was probably the main reason is you were from Louisiana and I wanted to make friends with people from Louisiana," he stated to folks. "So I credit that as being the most important thing is that I was just from Louisiana." When the COVID-19 epidemic broke out in 2020, Anderson and Blanchard got in touch for the first time. At the time, Anderson worked at a hospital, and he said that his clientele had decreased from about 300 to 12 people. Then, his co-worker told him she wanted to write a letter to Joseph "Joe Exotic" Maldonado Passage, the subject of the popular Netflix series Tiger King. He promised to write Blanchard if she wrote to him. "I told you what, I would write Gypsy Rose Blanchard if you wrote him. And around 3 years before to that, I had viewed her documentary Mommy Dead and Dearest," he added. "Then the act came out. I've never seen the act, but I recall hearing my friends talk about it, so I thought I'd watch the documentary once again. I therefore had it somewhat fresh in mind." He didn't anticipate a response when he submitted it, but a few weeks later, in May 2020, he started an email correspondence with Blanchard, who he claimed was intrigued by his candor and the sacrifices he had made for his family, including aiding his mother in raising his nephew. Blanchard and Anderson could not meet until July 2021 because to COVID-19 rules. But Blanchard has referred to him as her emotional backboard, acknowledging that he has kept her composed. "We met in 2020 when the pandemic was really strong, and I had a lot of emotional ups and downs because of COVID," she stated to People. "Sadly, it caused the prison to become even more restrictive with regard to our freedom. Ryan has therefore supported me during both incredibly wonderful and really difficult times." She went on, "I would say that he is probably the most patient and caring person I have ever encountered. God knows, he puts up with me even though I can be a bit of a handful. I could be a real handful, a handful of emotions." She continued by saying that even though they spent a lot of time together virtually and over the phone, Anderson developed such a keen sense of her feelings that he could tell the moment she picked up the phone. "We've been able to build this emotional bond that within 2 seconds of talking on the phone, he knows my emotions," she stated. "And he'll ask, 'Are you all right? Would you like to discuss it?' I am therefore grateful that I have a man who is honest enough about his own feelings for me to be able to express my feelings." Blanchard has previously used the Pen Pal program to contact with males outside the prison gates, however little is known about how they first met. In 2019, she became engaged to a guy by the name of Ken, but they broke up. According to the Springfield News Leader, on June 27, 2022, Anderson and Blanchard, who was still serving her sentence, got married in Chillicothe, Missouri. On July 21, 2022, a month later, the couple wed in a private prison ceremony without any guests. "Since we deserve it, we do intend to have a reception/redo wedding with all of our family and friends, along with the dress, cake, and other necessities. That's something I deserve." He deserves that, she stated in 2023 to People. We just wanted a place to exchange vows, so we had our prison wedding. The object held significance for us. Additionally, I believe that the celebration is primarily for everyone else but also for ourselves. Blanchard told People that she is eager to have children in the future, prior to her early release from prison. Blanchard claimed it has hurt her feelings that others have wondered what type of mother she will be because she never lived with her father or stepmother and had a tense relationship with her own mother. Every time someone asks, "Do you think you're going to do that to your kids because of what you went through?" And I said, "What do you know?" Not at all. I now know what not to do, she remarked. Blanchard cited her own stepmother and Anderson's mother as powerful maternal role models that she intends to follow in her own parenting. I have other mother figures that are around in my life, friends that are mothers, she stated. I am surrounded by a lot of wonderful people from whom I can seek guidance when the time comes. I don't think there will be a handbook declaring you the winner of Mom of the Year, but when it comes to that point, I have no worries about, well, my parenting. Prior to Blanchard's publication, Anderson told People that, because he would rather be more private, he was concerned about the attention that would be directed towards them. There will be a lot of attention and it will be a whirlwind, Anderson said. I'm still quite anxious about it. I'm a really personal person. He did, however, add that the two had a strategy in place for ignoring the outside world and concentrating on one another. It's like, "Oh, you're in the spotlight now, go out there and experience it," the man remarked. But since it's going to be crazy for a minute, we've decided that every night when we lay in bed, we're going to chat to each other and see how we're doing. About 3 months after Blanchard was released from the Chillicothe Correctional Center in Missouri, the couple announced their separation. Home March 2024, she posted on Facebook, "Unfortunately, my husband and I are going through a separation, and I moved in with my parents. My friends and family are here to support me and help me get through this. I'm getting better at following my gut. I need some time right now to discover who I am." Blanchard was seen hanging out with her ex-fiancé, Ken Erker, after the announcement. "It just happened to me," Anderson said in an April 2024 interview with the Daily Mail. "I didn't know she still felt that way about him. I don't know what's going on because I haven't spoken to her. I don't know what to do. I'm not doing well at all, actually." Blanchard formally filed for divorce on April 8, 2024. Later on, she requested a temporary restraining order from Anderson. Call 1-800-4-A-CHILD or 1-800-422-4453, the Child Help National Child Abuse Hotline, if you believe a child has been abused, or visit www.childhelp.org. Every call is private and toll-free. The hotline is open in over 170 languages around the clock.